In Germany, you have been criticized once again for dedicating 2 songs to Leni Riefenstahl. What do you like about her? What do you dislike about her? And why do you think people have always problems with these ambivalent characters?
Well, what I like about Leni Riefenstahl, I think she was a great filmmaker before the Third Reich, so she'd already made her mark, and I think that the sort of romanticism and the aesthetics that she expressed in her films were part of the culture. They were part of the sort of late 19th century German culture, part of the modern German culture, Weimar period. It was all part of that. And then it kind of went 2 ways. You have the kind of the aesthetics of the Third Reich, which kind of incorporated a lot of what Leni was doing, and then the more decadent elements that were in Weimar that kind of went with Marlene Dietrich and sort of went west to America and influenced Hollywood. But Leni was kind of caught up in the whole thing, and I think she was judged correctly at her trial as a naive artist, although I think it was entirely wrong that she was stopped from making films because that just stifled her genius, and I think that was incorrect. And you know, she had to kind of live in the shadows for the rest of her life. So I think she was a true genius of both cinema and art. She did get caught up with the Nazi regime, and she felt enthusiastic for it. Of course, people at that time couldn't necessarily have the foresight, and I think it's true that she didn't entirely affiliate herself with the ideology, but she was, like a lot of characters, I think Gita Sereni said this in her book about Leni, in that she was captivated by Hitler, and a lot of people were, and that blinded people to what ultimately happened. So in that sense, she can be criticized, but I don't think she can be criticized for not being able to predict what was going to happen. Yeah.
And why do you think people have problems with these ambivalent characters?
Well, a lot of people are controversial. I mean, I think anybody who presents something very powerfully, whatever its associations, can be, you know, at the same time admired and revered, but also criticised, and it happens in our own age today. You know, look at someone like Marilyn Manson, who got involved in the Columbine thing, and completely innocent of that, and yet was made into this kind of icon of evil in America. So I think there's a magnet that gets attracted to certain people of charisma, and it's inevitable to some degree that people of genius are going to be considered one way or the other. Of course, Leni's an extreme situation because she made films for a regime that was horrific in the end, and that is an extreme, and yet her films are still such wonderful pieces of work.
2 questions. What is that fascinating in extremes? And the second one is, what extreme situations of your life can you share with us?
I'll answer the first question first, and then we'll give the other one some thought. I think life is a form of living sort of between extremes. I think you go through states of extreme depression or extreme joy, and I think a lot of the time you're sort of trying to keep a balance. But I think this whole planet, you just have to look at the whole structure of the universe. Really, it is comes into being through opposites, fire and ice, and creation and destruction. So this is just the natural order, I think. And the question is to keep a balance, but at the same time not to deprive yourself of some of the sort of full intensities or emotional intensities of life, which bring a lot of reward, but can also be very destructive. So that's how I see it. In terms of extreme experiences, well, I suppose having a tour bus firebombed in Frankfurt was quite extreme when I was with Death in June. We weren't in the bus at the time, fortunately, but we were doing the concert, and we came out and we saw that the entire bus had been set on fire by anti-fascist groups who perceived the event being a Nazi event. So that was pretty extreme. And other things, well, I suppose life and love brings its extremes of emotions, extreme tensions. But fortunately, I'm still with the person that I love, so I'm happy.
Yeah, any rock business extreme situations?
Not yet, but I'm still young, so.
You're still trying to get more.
Still waiting.
No, every day is an extreme situation for me. Getting out of bed in the morning is an extreme situation. But if you look at a lot of the good albums that have come out recently, a lot of them are about extreme situations, and this album just happens to be called. We've titled it around an extreme situation. That's just what we've written about, or what we've just written about. Yeah.